How anyone is still listening to this guy in 2025 is actually beyond me. This guy has nothing apart from the United States government bad. They do whatever Israel wants the United States to do. That's literally all that is in his arsenal, nothing else. Everything that he believes stems from the idea that the government is bad and whatever they do is bad. But we're about to see another clip of him clowning himself yet again. But before we get right into it, if you're new to the channel, it will be massively appreciated if you subscribe, and also if you like the content, drop a like.
I want to kind of dumb things down a little bit here. I see a lot of people wearing 47 hats. I voted for President Trump multiple times. I love our president. You guys love our president, right? You love President Trump? Okay. This is turning point freaking USA. Charlie, God bless you. You have built the largest MAGA grassroots army in the country. Seriously, my friend, you deserve this. You all are card-carrying members of it. We here are part of that. The good news is that while no one should be afraid of debate, and this debate is a nice thing here, the MAGA movement is actually quite unified. Believe it or not, all the talk to the contrary when it comes to these issues. An overwhelming majority of self-identified MAGA Republicans support close U.S.-Israel relations. According to a CBS News poll, moreover, after the recent Operation Midnight Hammer B-2 bombers in Iran, 94% of self-identified MAGA Republicans supported President Trump's dropping those B-2 bombs on Fort Natanz and the other Iranian facilities there. This is a wildly popular policy there. What did Dave Smith say about this? He re-upped his now years-long crusade to call for Donald Trump's impeachment. Y'all probably don't know that about Dave Smith, do you? He's now called for Donald Trump to be impeached multiple times. But Dave, you know, look, I mean, I don't like when people misquote me either. You probably don't like when people misquote you. So I actually have a little bit of a highlight reel here of Dave Smith's tweets over the years. Dave Smith.
He came with receipts. Oh my.
March 19th, 2024. Donald Trump is responsible for around 500,000 deaths in Yemen, and between the weapons to Ukraine and the Abraham Accords Jerusalem embassy, he is at least partially responsible for the two worst humanitarian crises in the world. He's a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. He is calling Donald Trump a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. You should be livid at that. I am livid at that as a Trump supporter. Donald Trump, Dave Smith, June 16, 2025. Trump allegedly had full prior knowledge of Israel's attacks and gave it his blessing while pretending to be negotiating with the Iranians as a cover. If this is true, Trump is the most impotent bitch of a leader imaginable. He's calling our president, the greatest president in my lifetime, an impotent bitch. Are you kidding me? June 21st, 2025, Donald Trump has now launched an illegal war of aggression against Iran. The risk of an absolute catastrophe is very high, and the benefits are non-existent. Dave Smith, June 21st. Dead wrong. This notion that World War III would start, not a single American casualty.
Sure.
We should be celebrating that. Donald Trump fulfilled multiple campaign promises. The escalator speech in 2015 at Trump Tower, he literally said, I'm not going to let Iran get a nuclear weapon. And guess what? He said, I oppose a neoconservative foreign policy. He did both of those.
This is the thing, right? As someone, Trump is someone that will do what he wants to do. He's already shown he's willing to use missiles to be able to get whatever goal he wants in his first term. He did this in his first term. But then you voted for him again, expecting it to be different this time. Why? Because they told you, oh, I'm not going to get involved in any foreign wars. Sometimes you do have to get involved in foreign wars when it's so important, right? He himself, Dave Smith, has admitted so many times that Iran getting nuclear weapons probably isn't good. So you know that. So at some point, whether or not they are actually going to, Iran is actually making nuclear weapons, at some point you do agree that Iran not getting the nuclear weapon is good. So America had to intervene at some point. It's just about, was there enough evidence for you? So this idea that him intervening in this war, Iran-Israel war, was like, regardless, it was just bad. You shouldn't have done it because you've been fighting unnecessary wars for the last 20 years. Makes no sense, because you yourself do agree that Iran getting a nuclear weapon isn't good. And Trump has shown this so many times, and now you call for his impeachment. Wait, what did you think was going to happen? Did you really believe that Trump wasn't going to do what he did in his first term? This idea is actually laughable. It just shows how shallow his thought process actually was. The fact he thought that Trump would do every single thing that he planned to do. I mean, anyone actually following right now would actually be able to literally say he's barely done anything he actually planned. He didn't bring inflation down. He hasn't stopped the Ukraine war. He hasn't stopped the Israeli war. He hasn't really done everything he planned. But you still believed everything and decided, I'm going to vote for him. And now you're calling for his impeachment. It's a bit rich coming from you, bro. A bit rich.
I got to ask you tough questions now. Okay?
Yeah, but I want to respond to some of this stuff because all of that's wrong.
You will. Hold on. I don't want us to talk past each other, else we're going to spend all this time on prime ministers in 2002 that the audience doesn't know about.
No, but if he's making claims about like something that's just not true.
I want you to get to. But I want to just ask a very simple question. From your perspective, because I just asked the tough one to Josh, are you okay, or do you think we should do anything to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
Anything, sure. Yeah, there's lots of things I think we should do.
Is military action ever justified?
Well, again, yes, there are times when military action is justified, but if you're saying what we could do to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, what we were doing, Donald Trump was in negotiations with them, and I think he should have continued those. And the truth is that the big problem with the JCPOA that Obama got us into was that there were sunset provisions. They opened up a whole new inspections regime. It is not true that the IAEA is saying that Iran was about to get a nuclear weapon. Anybody you want, it's published online. You can go read the conclusion of their last report where they explicitly said Iran does not have nuclear weapons and is not trying to develop them. They are enriching at 60%, and they were in negotiations to maybe bring that down. But
one thing that I do find interesting for what he's actually said right now is he does at some point actually admit that it's probably not a good idea that Iran does have a nuclear weapon. But then he blames that there shouldn't have been some form of like bomb dropped on the nuclear site. It should have been diplomatic and actually resolving the situation by sitting on the table and actually talking. But the problem is the person that you voted for was the one that took the United States out of the nuclear deal that they had with Iran, and then that gave Iran an incentive to boost and continue its nuclear program. Without actually withdrawing the United States out of that nuclear deal, they probably wouldn't be enriching uranium at 60% right now. So you can talk about how it should be resolving this problem diplomatically, not using force or using missiles, and also blaming the JCPOA how bad of a deal it was. At the end of the day, the deal kept Iran at leash, right? It kept them not making nuclear weapons. The president you voted for took the United States out of that and then gave an incentive to Iran to make the nuclear weapon. You don't have any grounds to actually claim anything, to be honest, right now. None.
But Dave, I'm going to follow up with a tough question. I want you to make the case, because I don't want to have you be able to get past this. You say Israel is not an ally. That is not an opinion that people hear a lot. Why is that?
Look, all I'm saying is Israel has at every turn, and look, again, when I say Israel, I'm talking about the government of Israel. I'm not talking about the people there. And I'm specifically talking about Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party, who have been in control for most of this time, for most of my lifetime. Yeah, and right, most of the 21st century. And so when I say they have been constantly pushing America toward more aggressive policies, toward getting in more fights. And just like I always say, if you went out to the bar every single night with your friend, and every night your friend's trying to convince you to get into a fight, and while you're beating a lot of people up, you're also taking a lot of wounds, and you're going to jail, and you're getting in trouble, you got to stop hanging out with that friend. And so I think that my position, I don't believe in wars of aggression and wars of choice. I don't believe in sanctions. I don't believe in that. We should be friends with Israel. We should trade with Israel and have a good relationship with them. But you know what? I also don't believe in welfare, and they shouldn't get another dime of U.S. taxpayer money, and they should not.
So
hold on. Their lobby should register as a foreign
That's a good segue. Finish that.
And they should stop blackmailing our politicians.
Got it. So
this idea that Israel is just blackmailing the United States, right? United States, we're not talking a gimmick country here. We're not talking about a tiny, small country here. We're talking about the hegemon around the world. We're talking about the superpower of the world. The United States dictates the policies of the United States. There is no Israel lobbyist in the bush. Like, just imagine this, right? So you're telling me Israel has some form of hold on the president of the United States since 2000? What, George Bush, Barack Obama, Trump, Biden, and then Trump again. Some way, somehow, they just know how to control all these presidents. Is that actually likely, or is the other option actually more likely? Is it that the United States as a country believe them having an ally in the Middle East serve their own goal? Isn't that more likely rather than Israel just pushing the United States to every single war that they want? It's absolutely like the United States isn't some random country that another country dictates the policies. That's not the case at all. It just doesn't make any sense, genuinely. And I'm so frustrated and tired of hearing that narrative that Israel pushes the United States to war. No, the United States decide what the United States want to do because they are the superpower of the world. So this Dave Smith guy, right? There isn't really too much going on up there. Genuinely, if you ask me, it's just government bad, and whatever the government does outside of the United States, it's automatically bad, regardless of how it might actually benefit the United States in the future. They just don't want the United States to have any influence throughout the world. They don't want them to intervene anywhere, probably economically or politically. Like, genuinely, it actually baffles me. Do you want the United States to actually try to resolve the Ukraine and Russian war? I wonder what his opinion will actually be now, because the United States would have to mediate that. But hey, who knows? They might just change their mind and be like, oh, okay, you can do it. But that's just my thoughts. Remember, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. And also, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like.